switch on.
Sound the camera. Hey, there we are. Not very glamorous, but it's working.
It's on my phone if you want it.
Cool. We're on the hello.
Hi everyone. We're a little bit late than we were hoping.
Bloody printer.
Yeah, we tried to print out this document, but we can't, so we're looking at it on a computer screen and on telephone, which isn't ideal. But hey, here we are. If you're watching this, you'll be able to comment probably, and we might see the comments turn up at the bottom of the screen, although we might not notice them until later on, which is hilarious.
Yeah, we'd have to open a third window with Discord in, so we could actually see people talking to us. But then we'd be watching everything on like a 6-second delay.
Possibly.
No,
I think Twitch has a chat function. I've seen it work in the past.
Maybe.
Don't worry too
something
much.
to click to do it. I'm sure.
Facebook message us. That might work. It'll make a bleep on my phone, and then we'll see. So yeah, we put up a document, a Google Doc, so people could fill it in and give us feedback on LarpCon.
Oh, clicky buttons.
Yeah, clicky buttons. It was exciting. Oh yes, smash that subscribe button. Give us a like. Things like that. Other
things that YouTube people say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media
smash
stuff.
That like.
Don't know what happens.
The buttons like here.
That does suggest using a hammer. Don't know why you have to use a hammer. But anyway, there's quite a lot of feedback to go through. So if we just witter, we'll take
look
ages.
At the feedback from LarpCon 2023 and respond to the comments. Several of the questions were asked for responses on a scale from basically good to bad. So how enjoyable did people find LarpCon?
Seeing that the vast majority of respondents enjoyed the event a lot. No one responded, said they had a bad time.
Which is a good thing. People grumbled about the noise levels, making it difficult to communicate, and that little robot, cool as it was very loud.
Yeah, the little robot was brought by an attendee rather than by organised by LarpCon. It was very cool. This feedback was actually the first time we'd heard about any issues with the noise it produced. We're sorry. If we'd known about the issue during the event, we'd have spoken to the person controlling it and put a pillow on it or something. Overall, with the number of people present, there was always going to be a bit of an issue with noise levels. That's just the nature of having, like, there was about 1,400 people, or up to 1,800 people in the room, or in the venue, 4-hour event.
Chatting, scuffling their feet and rattling their bags.
Yeah, LARP weapons are very loud, it turns out.
I tried saying shh, but nobody heard.
It was too loud.
It was. So, bigger, bolder signage for the promoters upstairs. Somebody missed a cosplay parade because they were given contradictory answers on when it was. Others didn't know much about the talks. One didn't know where to look or what was on. Somebody suggested a big timetable board to act as a central display. The overwhelming message was of earlier communication about everything so people could plan their day and know what was happening. And posting on social media should be thought through more beforehand.
Yeah, we're sorry if this happened to you. The times on the free handout map available at ticket collection were correct, as are our website and social media posts relating to this. We'll work on ways to make the timetable more visible for everybody. Really, we want you to come and see the stuff that we've organised. Sometimes getting it organised is a little bit last minute and a little bit chasing people because we emailed them 3 months ago. And
please, will you do a talk so we can put it on the timetable?
So we tried to address the problem with the venue maps and signage around the stairs. We'll put up a banner instead, or banners next year, instead of having handouts, because people didn't seem to really take the handouts or look at them. We put a timetable on our website, our social media, and on the free handout available, as well as having some posters up around the venue. We also had someone walking around the venue with a sign on a pole to advertise various talks. We'll think about ways to promote these more for next year. Obviously, if you've got any great thoughts, drop us a message and we will listen to them.
Friday on setup conflicted with the judo class, which caused some exhibitors issues for setting up.
A judo class did arrive. It was unscheduled to us. This wasn't planned. We've already booked the venue for next year. Hopefully this will prevent the issue occurring again, but maybe not.
Maybe we'll go along next weekend, next year's weekend, and just say to everybody, hey, next week, you're not here.
Yeah.
Enjoy your week off. There were a lot of comments about the car park. Parking was very limited, clearly very busy with normal gym goers. If traders could have parked their cars or vans around the back of the venue or have a dedicated area, it would have helped reduce the confusion and loss of viable spaces. Having someone directing the traffic in the car park and more communication regarding intended parking facilities in advance would be helpful. Some people didn't know that there was supposed to be overflow parking, let alone where it was supposed to be.
Parking was an issue. Partly due to the number of attendees at LarpCon this year, basically up about 50%, no, actually 100% of numbers from last year's LarpCon. It's compounded by the fact that the venue is now busier than the venue used to be when it was tucked around the back of the world rather than off a major road. And topped off by the security company employed to manage the parking and the overflow parking, not arriving as far as we can see. The overflow car park wasn't opened, or at least to vehicles over 6 foot, if at all. And it wasn't open early enough on Saturday morning. We have raised this point with the venue, so it shouldn't happen again. There was a map of the overflow parking sent out with the fast track ticket purchases. We'll also add this map to our website and the social media. We plan to ask exhibitors to park their vehicles in the overflow parking for future events. Both car parks have barriers and bollards at their entrance. So if attendees require vehicle movement in the evening, we would suggest they're not left on site. Also, there's not actually enough room around the back of the venue to park all the vans, as delightful as that is as an idea.
Room for a couple, but like if you want to turn a bin lorry around as well. Not having food available and having huge queues and long waits wasn't good. Also, the staff didn't seem to know we were coming, at least in such numbers, and were unimpressed at best. More food options are needed for attendees.
Yeah, we agree with this. The idea that there is both a McDonald's and a KFC for food and a Costa Coffee within about 400 yards of the venue was proffered as alternatives. It was last year as well. They were not sure if anyone wanted to drive to them on the grounds that they wouldn't be able to get back to the park again afterwards. And I've lost my place in this list I'm reading.
Vastly reduced attendees' willingness to go to.
It did. People didn't want to go over there because people don't want to walk. They just want to walk. They want it there.
Although KFC is really, really like right next door to the overflow parking.
Yeah, it is. You'd have to drive past it. You could park in the KFC for overflow parking.
I think people did. They parked in Lidl and Aldi and Costa and McDonald's.
Yeah, they were down the outside of the A511.
In the lay-bys, on the verges.
We blocked the road. You couldn't get to Ashby. It was glorious.
I went out briefly, looked around the car park and went, oh my God, what have we done? I went back in and let somebody else deal with it.
We'll push for extra food trucks for next time because I think we need them. The issue has been that the leisure centre also runs other events throughout the year, and they have had food trucks that have made a big mess.
Left rubbish and on the floor.
So we'll work out a way that we can put food vans there, and that isn't an issue.
I think we'll probably be a little bit more respectful than darts.
Yes,
maybe even
LARPers
the antique show
tend to be a bit more respectful of their environment than some other event attendees.
Many of them are.
The staff being unaware of our event or being unimpressed by some of our attendees is basically unacceptable. We'll address this with the venue.
Outside or indoor seating areas would be appreciated. And big ashtray and smoking area. It's a lovely day out.
Yeah, there are some outdoor benches at the centre, though space is limited and we're unsure where we could fit indoor seating areas, unfortunately. The term smoking area is a slight misnomer, as it was an outside space where smokers gathered rather than actually a smoking area. They just all went there and smoked cigarettes. As the venue is a leisure centre, we don't really expect them to be very encouraging to smoking. So we might have to get our own bucket and fill it with sand.
There is also a little seating on the balcony overlooking the swimming pool.
Don't smoke there.
It's a bit warm. No, don't smoke there. But if you wanted to rest your feet and check through your purchases and share them with your friends, then that might be a spot.
It smells of chlorine as well.
It does. Next one. The wristband had a bead which was fastened too tightly and had to be cut off.
Yeah, we used a new style of wristband for LarpCon this year. More
They were cool.
Yeah, I like them. They're more usual for sort of festivals style events. It has a one-way security fastening on, as I'm sure most of you worked out by now. If you pull the fastening too tight, unfortunately, it may have needed to be cut off, or cut off the blood supply to your hand, one of the two. We prefer the look of these to the Tyvek wristbands we've used in previous years. They appreciate that attendees may have had issues with them. We'll consider returning to the Tyvek wristbands for our future events, but we don't like them quite as much, even though it's a bit of hassle to stick the things on, rather than just put a wristband over your arm and do up the buckle to an extent where it doesn't cut your blood supply off in your hand.
That is less appealing than slightly sticking a little bit of sticky to the arm hairs, which is uncomfortable, but doesn't threaten life and limb.
In any case, we do prefer having wristbands to an ink stamp or pen mark on the back of attendees' hands, and there's less likelihood of somebody claiming that we assaulted them or something.
Or washing it off because you've just washed your hands.
Yeah, you've gone to the toilet, washed your hands, and now you can't get back in. Brilliant.
And there was some confusion over Autism Hour. Some people felt they wouldn't be welcome as it wouldn't apply to them, but wanted to make the most of the 10 a.m. opening. And why is Autism Hour so early?
We're sorry. The Autism Hour had been planned for some time, but had been missed from some of the announcements. All attendees are more than welcome to attend during this time. We try and keep things a little quieter for attendees. We do appreciate those that turned up specifically at 11 o'clock because they knew that's when Autism Hour had finished.
You don't have to be autistic to shop during Autism Hour, but
if people have autism, yeah, it's nice for them to have an opportunity where their senses aren't overloaded by there being lots and lots and lots of people there. So we like to keep it a little bit quieter for attendees that prefer that sort of environment. For reference, we'll be running another Autism Hour next year on the Sunday morning from 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. All are welcome, but we do appreciate that the attendees who wait until 11 a.m. to turn up. Unfortunately, the Autism Hour really needs to run first thing, as it's not practical to clear out the venue when the majority of attendees have arrived. Saturday is a busier day for attendance than Sunday, which is why it's planned for Sunday morning.
People wanted to look at new systems and said far fewer systems than in previous years was a bit of a letdown. But also, the promoters area was packed in a bit tight and the corners suffered a reduction in traffic as a result. They suggested we could have utilised the central space and created a bit more room for each booth. Although someone else wanted less promoters and more traders with different stock, alleging the stock from traders was not varied enough and mostly the same old. A few people found the bring and buy a little bit dull, and while the artists were interesting, they would have liked them to be in a dedicated area in the market rather than mixed in with the promoters.
Yeah, to be honest, we're a little bit confused by this. We'll pass on the comment to the traders in attendance as well that they need to have new ideas and new stock, and even if they had old stock that's a good seller, don't bring that, bring new things that might not sell as well. But their stock choices are down to them, not down to rather than us. Several were demonstrating entirely new lines of stock, some of which were unique items. We had at least 20% new traders at this event as well, so the same old seems.
Traders. Some never actually been to an event to trade before, not just first time to LarpCon, first time to trading completely.
Yeah, and them not being allowed to bring a great selling item because folks have seen them before. Seems a little bit unfair, though.
Yeah.
Ho hum.
And wherever they'd seen these people that have basically been working in their garages quietly to themselves. Who knows? But been seen before.
We tried to accommodate as many promoters and artists as we could. Obviously, there's a limit to available space. To the extent we couldn't fit all the LARP promoters that wanted to attend into our event and had to be turned away. We left the centre of the room clear to allow space for the cosplay parade. If we didn't run that, we could have fit some more promoters in. We're a bit caught between trying to promote as many events as we can, whilst giving them all enough room to exhibit from. We'll look at the room layout more carefully for next year, and so make sure that no one's trapped in a corner. If there are systems that you would like to hear about, could we encourage you to contact them and to ask them to come along and promote their systems? As much as we like to, we can't actually force systems or traders to attend, and if they wait for a while to try and book, we may have filled up all the pitches, because it is quite popular. Some of the artists wanted to be in the main trade hall, which again, there are only limited pitches in that trade hall, so we can't fit everybody in. We're looking at the idea of having a room dedicated to having all the artists in for next year, and also having a room dedicated to the photo categories, printed out pictures, and possibly having an art exhibition of art produced by LARPers, because we do want to support LARPers who are artists as well as other artists in general. And then in the background, I can hear something falling down.
I think that's somebody creeping closer. So some people requested to see some specific traders and more generically a fabric vendor, alternative clothing retailers and clothing stalls.
Yeah, we're not really interested in the idea of alternative clothing stores, as whilst having items that could be suitable for LARP, they're not really LARP focused. You can find them in the high street. If you can find it in the high street, perhaps it's not something that we're going to have at LarpCon.
Although one or two high streets have got a LARP shop, but
if you all give us money, then we can buy a pub and build our own LARP shop. It'd be brilliant.
It would be nice to have a few in different parts of the country, so we don't have so far to travel. We're based in Devon.
Yeah, finding a suitable venue isn't as simple as just Googling big hall. We run LarpCon in the centre of the country, so it's as convenient or inconvenient, depending on your viewpoint, to as many potential attendees as possible. Google tells us that the centre of the UK, based on where people live, is only 7 miles south of where the LarpCon venue is. The centre of the UK, based purely on geography, is near Cumbria, and I'm not sure anyone wants to go. We feel that's going to be a bit too far north, and certainly less convenient for residents of Devon.
I always love archery contests, but I understand if the venue cannot support it.
Since we'd be focusing on LARP archery, the weather is also a large contributing factor as to whether there's something like this or outdoor LARP combat activity could take place. We wouldn't want to advertise something which can't take place, and we don't have room anywhere indoors if the event has inclement weather.
We asked for suggestions on talks and panels and workshops.
For the future, not for the event just gone.
Yes. They suggested sessions on getting the best out of your LARP makeup for players and event organisers, some sort of beginners sessions, finding a LARP you like and what sort of variations there are, kit care, tips for happy camping, Combat 101.
And these all sound like really good ideas. Get in contact if you feel like you're able to deliver advice on these subjects. We had a lot of makeup artists in attendance who possibly could have given pointers for their craft. We were hoping that the representatives present from the various LARPs, all the promoters, would have been able to help attendees find LARPs they like and what sort of variety of LARPs there are. For kit care, we feel that a panel of experienced craftspeople would be the best format for responding to this. We'll see what we'll put together. Again, if you feel you could offer some advice here, please contact us.
Message info@larpcon.co.uk.
Yeah.
Or message
LarpCon.co.uk. Yeah.
Finally, someone asked how the LARP Awards determine the shortlists and winners. I'm not sure how that was feedback on LarpCon. but it was there, so we put it in.
It's all explained on the nominations page of the website, larpcon.co.uk, along with some useful tips to help you make your nominations more effective, and lists of past winners of Lifetime Achievement, so you don't all nominate the same people over and over again, because they're probably not going to win twice, really. Yeah, and that is the end of our responses to the feedback. Thank you very much for everyone that came. I'm losing my voice here.
To this video or to LarpCon?
To LarpCon. Thank you for everyone who watched this video too. Both are good.
Both viewers.
Doesn't it tell us somewhere we've got viewers?
Not in this one. This is like just the video editor program. Not that one. No.
We've disappeared.
We have.
Definitely not in that one.
This one.
Oh, okay. Different window.
It's really boring to watch this because we are just staring at it. There we go. This is like 6 seconds ago.
Okay.
There's the chat and one person watching.
Super duper. Yeah, we wanted to run this through the Facebook page as well, because we figured that will get us a little bit more traction and more people find it easy to watch. But we couldn't make Twitch do that as we were trying to make it work for us. We had all sorts of difficulty with lost passwords, and they've changed the format and things like that. So it's fun. But we're here now. And Emily's looking desperately for various items.
Yeah, I don't know how to make the chat work. Maybe there's nobody there chatting to us.
Possibly not. Sorry if you asked a pertinent message and we haven't answered. The best way is just to message me on Facebook at the moment, because it'll bleep and I'll be able to see it. My surname's Nope, so yeah, look for Ian Nope, and you can message me. And then
I'll many notes.
There's not. Although my cousin did seem a little bit confused by my friend's acceptance the other day. Oh, we've gone.
We have. I've changed window again. There we go.
We're
back again.
So yeah, we've got a LarpCon kit fair planned for November this year, which is just going to be the downstairs environment rather than the upstairs and the squash courts. And then LarpCon that will be the first weekend of November, which if I thought about, I would have written down so it would be easy for you to read. I think it's like the 3rd, 4th and 5th of November, isn't it?
I can go through and check, or there might be a calendar.
Oh, I've got my phone, I've got a calendar.
Yeah.
And also we've got LarpCon 2024 next year, which I think is the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of March. Again, it's the first weekend of March.
3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, but the 3rd setting up day for the traders. So don't come along if you want to shop, or indeed if you think that that's a good time to see other LARPers.
If you would like to come along and put on a red vest and help people unload their vans.
Help mark out pitches, that would be super.
Send us a message.
So yeah, LarpCon next year is again the 1st for setup, the 2nd and 3rd of March. Our theme for next year, in the same way that our theme for this year was Discworld, our theme next year will be the tabletop role-playing game Paranoia.
How long has that been around?
Which will be 40 next year. So yeah, we'll be doing some slightly more sci-fi things. Don't really have to do anything. You can turn up in your normal clothes and shop like normal if you want. But it means I won't hire an orangutan next year. Pardon me.
Your friend computer won't hire an orangutan.
Yeah, we'll just make lots of friend computer jokes and have bouncy bubbly beverage or something. And trust no one. Keep your laser handy.
Something about a towel around your neck, but that's unrelated. There's pictures of people coming out the pool.
That's Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah, if you'd like to think of anyone that's wearing a towel because they've been swimming as celebrating Hitchhiker's Guide, I'm sure that will help. Help massively. Yeah, right, we're finished. So thank you very much for tuning in, or not tuning in. If you didn't tune in, that's fine too. We're not your bosses.
And maybe you'll be seeing this later.
Yeah. We'll copy this and put it on YouTube. That'll probably help. All right. Thanks for your time. See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye. As we try and find the off button.